Hey guys, this is going to be my builds of the year video. Basically all the builds that I've done that have been completed this year. I think in total I've done about 5, which is not as many as last year. Obviously with commitments in life, and obviously with the change in my work schedule, so I thought I'd show you the ones I've done anyway. The first one that I completed this year, as you can see, was my entry into Steve Mottram's M group build. That was basically to celebrate the fact he'd reached 100 subscribers, and it was to do with anything with the letter M in it. It could be an aircraft, vehicle, ship, you name it, what have you. I decided on the M3E8 for Sherman with the 155mm howitzer, which was Tamiya's kit. Superb little kit to put together. It fell together like you wouldn't believe. It's really pretty much the standard with most Tamiya kits. Didn't have too much trouble with the decals either, which was quite a nice pleasant surprise, because they're normally quite thick and they are devil to bed down, but thankfully in my case they went down beautifully. The weathering on it was done with UMP's whitewash. It was my first attempt at whitewashing a vehicle. And also I used MIG pigments basically to muddy up the actual tracks, etc. The figures were a mixture of the ones that came with the kit, I being the tank commander up here. If it comes round, if you'll bear with me, these two figures here running into the square, and I think one or two, I think you've got this guy here, he's from the set as well. Oh no, he wasn't, beg your pardon. Two of these guys here were, and the rest were from the Master Box 82nd Airborne Division, Bastogne 1944, the Battle of the Bulge. The other figure was a resin figure. That's the little Panzer crewman, which has just been arrested as he turns around. I can't remember the name. I think it was DK Models or something or other, some obscure brand I found on the internet. So that's this little figure here. And the actual Kubelwagen again was the old venerable Tamiya kit, which went together like a little dream. The actual aftermarket hood I got from DK Model Works. That was a resin set that actually fitted like a glove on the actual vehicle, so I was very pleased with that. And the snow effects were basically a mixture of Woodland Scenics flex paste and snow. So all told, and obviously a lot of the paints were basically Tamiya. Some of the wearing pigments were a mixture of AK and MIG, and the stowage set on the actual vehicle itself was from Value Gear, and I'll tell you what, they came up exceptionally well. The detail on them is beautiful, superb and crisp, and for the tie downs I actually used fuse wire. Yeah, that was a bit of an eye hurter, but it was well worth it in the end. And the base itself was from Fog Models Fields of Glory, so check them out. The snow effects I actually used on the wall was a mixture again of Woodland Scenic Snow and basically talcum powder, which I just gently dabbed on, and it came up beautifully. And the actual scene was depicting towards the latter stages of the Battle of the Bulge, when the 82nd Airborne were coming into basically liberate the town of Bastogne. And this guy, the story behind it is they've come in, they're clearing the way, which is why these two soldiers are hiding to get cover. They're waiting to follow on behind. He's actually got his aim on, he's doing covering fire. This guy's been arrested trying to escape in his Kubelwagen. He did, but unfortunately the front right axle collapsed, so he didn't get away. So basically that's what the scene is depicting, and all told, I have to say this was one of my favourite builds of the year. So there you go. So that was that one. That was the first completed build of 2017. I'm going to put that somewhere safe because I don't want it to get broken. And the second one of the year that I completed, and I'm very pleased it came up so well, was this, which was my entry into the Pixelplastic Leopard group build. Now that basically entailed any form of a leopard, be it a Leopard 1 or a Leopard 2, could be, or any subvariants such as this one, which I chose to be the old venerable Tamiya Gepard, which was the anti-aircraft mobile assault vehicle. Lovely little kit. Again, it fell together. I got it built in next to no time. Admittedly, I had a bit of an issue where, unfortunately, I had an accident and broke the two guns and had to buy in another donor kit to replace it and get it done. The back actually opens up, so you can see the internal framework for the mainframe for the computer, for aiming the targets. You got the back here which rotates as well on the radar, so there's a nice lot of detail. And then obviously got the crewman, because I just wanted to give it a sense of scale. I was going to have him inside the turret, but I thought no, I'll have him on top of the vehicle, because I must admit, I mean, I saw a couple of Leopard ones running around the arena at Bovington this year when I went to Tank Fest, and wow, they are really impressive. You just feel the power going through your chest as they go around that arena. It's awesome. The paints again were Tamiya. I used those, and then a mixture of a dusting of Tamiya buff, just to give it that dusty effect, and also again MIG pigments, which were used to give it that sort of dusty, dirty look, having been in the field as it were. And I also used a mixture of UMP's light and earth wash, basically to give it that sort of dusty appearance where it got stuck in all the crevices. Because I actually made a mental note of that when I was at Tiger Day at Bovington earlier in the year. So I thought, right, let's do that, just to give it some sort of worn effect. And then it was also using Flory Dark Dirt Wash, basically to make some of the detail pop out, especially on the figure himself. Lovely little kit. I'd hardly recommend you go out and get one if you can't afford the Meng kit. Definitely a bargain and a lot of fun, I have to say. Would I get another one again? Yes, I will. I'll probably more than likely get a Leopard 1 next time. I definitely had a lot of fun with this. It does look an awesome beast. I was going to do it in the 3-tone camo, but decided because of the actual time that was involved in the group build, I'd do it in the plain all over khaki, well, olive drab scheme, which it first started out on. But again, lovely, enjoyable build, and with the actual exhaust stains, again, I use the old venerable pastels for that as well. So there you go, that's the second build I managed to get completed of the year. And then there was another in-between project which I basically did whilst I was waiting to get this the Gepard finished. One of two actually. The first one was Bandai's Kylo Ren. Again, very straightforward build, easy to put together. The instructions with Bandai's figures are superb. I mean, I love the texture on his cloak. It really does look very realistic, especially with the creases of the fold of the fabric as well. The only thing I've got a criticism on is these joints. Probably I would have been, if I do this figure again, I'll probably do it with some milliput just to fill it in a bit, because it does look a little bit artificial apart from that. I mean, the actual face mask, I just used one of their stickers. And then obviously you've got his lightsaber. But maybe one day they'll think of basically being able to light that up, because that would look more effective, really. That's the only sort of weak downside of this kit, is just the lightsaber. But I just wanted to get him in that dramatic pose as it was from the Force Awakens, as it were. But again, a lovely little figure. along with most of Bandai's kits, and I would heartily recommend that if you can get hold of one, by all means do so. It's awesome. Definitely might possibly get another one of those in the future. Then after that was my 80 ACT Revell from Rogue One. This I loved. I really loved building this. I mean, the build was straightforward and simple. It's an easy Revell snap together kit. I thought I'd give it a sense of realism and make it with a scene from Rogue One where they're actually invading from the beach to get to the actual main complex before they steal the plans for the Death Star. And thankfully I managed to get hold of the trees online from a, well, I can't remember the source of it, but it was somewhere in China. It was a mixture of sizes. And then I used the flock from Woodland Scenics, as well as some of the little grass tufts and the actual static grass itself. Also with the beach, I used, what was it? Hang on. Where are we? Got it down the side here. Hang on. He says, trying to dig it out. Right at the down back, which it would be. Ooh, hang on, I've got it. It's Woodland Scenics medium ballast, which I used, and laid it down with a bit of the old glue as well. And then just overall sprayed it with some buff. And I was very, very pleased with the result, and then just went around the edge with Tamiya Black. Just to level it off, and with the tree actual stumps I used again UMP's wash, light wash on that, and I think it was their earth wash, just to enhance the stumps as it were, and then matte coated down the whole trees with the old Testor's Dull Coat, just to give it a sense of realism so it didn't look toy like. The actual kit itself was a straightforward snap build, and that was built in 2 hours. And then I basically went over it with some Stannarez black primer, and then basically masked off the side compartments here, painted that, the buff, and the rest of it was just a general sort of I think gold grey, which I used for the actual main part of the actual vehicle, as it were. And then once that was done, clear coated it. Put dark dirt wash down just to pop out the details, which came up beautifully. And then what else did I use? I think I used Mix fuel stains or something or other, and then just washed that down with a bit of white spirit because they were enamel washes. And it looks absolutely fantastic. I was very pleased with the end result of that once it dried off. Just gave it that worn effect, as it were, you know, it'd been well used. And then just did various amounts of chipping with a little bit of the old Tamiya Chrome Silver on various areas just to enhance the worn effect. And then just gave it an overall dark dull coat with Testor's Dull Coat again. And then just gave it a little airbrushing with a buff at the bottom of the actual legs, as you can see there. So it's been kicking up the sand, as it were, with the weight of the vehicle. And obviously it comes with sound effects, which I'm pleased to say still operating. The battery hasn't gone flat on me. So yeah, all told, very, very happy with the way this came out. And I'll give you a little burst of the sound effects on this, because the actual Karoo compartment lights up as well. There you go. So that was that build done, and it's since pride of place with the rest of my Star Wars builds. So there you go. Very happy with the result on that one. Now the next build, I think I completed. How many have we done so far? I think we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. The final one is the pièce de résistance, which I recently completed. and that was my entry into the 75th anniversary Tiger One group build, which is this baby right here. This is depicting a tiger that was used, an initial, believe it or not, kit number Dragon 6600, and it's supposed to be out during the Leningrad campaign. Oops, hang on, I'll have to move that over a bit. I didn't think it was going to go around all the way. And I'll move the camera around so you can see it a bit better, and down. There we are. Okay, it's coming up a bit better this time, because the last time I filmed it, it came out too dark. Yeah, beautiful kit. I absolutely loved it. The actual build went together very, very well, and formed into a beautiful build. And as I said, I decided on the very first version of the Tiger, being apt at being the 75th anniversary when it first went into action. And funnily enough, I think this was the very first campaign it took part in, was the Leningrad campaign. Not to great effect, unfortunately. They were a bit unsuccessful with reliability issues, so they refined the vehicle and turned it into the early version, which became a little bit more successful. The figures came from Mini Art's German Winter Tank Grew set, and the actual figures along the side here were from the Cold Wind Master Box set. And I just wanted to enhance that feeling of a real bitter winter in the deeps, sort of woodland of Russia itself, outside of Leningrad, to give you that really cold winter effect. And I think I've pretty much achieved it, actually, to be honest with you guys. It was a lengthy build. It took me all told, I think, about 3-4 months, but it was worth it. I mean, the frame itself I just got from, well, my old clearance shop, which was going for £2 before they shut it down and transferred it to a new shop. So I snapped that up, put a base of polyfiller down, although I didn't mix it very well because it did slightly crack. But then just basically oversprayed it with some what was it, Steiner Black, and obviously I applied the trees in when I actually put the polyfiller in, and they were from Woodland Scenics set of trees. It's the first time I'd actually done those, and yeah, putting the leaves on, the foliage on there, the flock on there was, yeah, a bit of an undertaking, I can tell you, but it was worth it in the end. I thought I was going to get it done in a couple of hours. It took me 2 days, actually. But hey, there you go. The results say it for themselves. And then after that, I just oversprayed with the various colours, and then laid down a base of flex base down. And obviously I've put the track marks in with a spare track from the Tiger kit, when I'd laid the polyfiller down, let it dry, left them clear, and then basically put the Woodland Scenic Snow over the flex base to give it that textured effect, and added some little grass tufts from Greensleeve set. Was it Greenfield set? I can't remember. You can refer back to my previous video anyway on this. So I was very pleased with how they came out. Again, with the snow on the trees, I used the old talcum powder effect, and the actual snow was Woodland Scenic Snow. Just gave it a quick sort of sprinkling of Woodland Scenic glue, just sprinkled it on top, and that was that. And then obviously painted all the figures up, put a dark dirt wash on them, and to enhance the fact that they were in the midst of winter, I put the Woodland Scenic, again I put some talcum powder on the various figures, just give it as though they were in the middle of a blizzard, and I actually put some on the actual Commander and Loader figure as well as on the actual vehicle itself, as though it's been snowed on, and they're caught in the middle of a blizzard, as it were. And it's supposed to be around about circa January 1943, at the latter part of the campaign. and people were saying there was an issue in the fact that no initials had exhaust covers on them. Well, I beg to differ, because I had some photo resources from a book called Tigers in Action by Gene Rastain, which proves the theory wrong. They did have actually exhaust shrouds on them at the latter part of the campaign. So those I actually got from Rick Connell, my friend over in the States, who, believe it or not, is going to have a new YouTube channel up and running called Old Man Modelling. So look out for that. Okay, guys? He's not decided what his first subject is going to be, but he has basically informed me it's going to be called Old Man Modelling. So look out for that channel when it comes up and running. And Rick, I'll definitely subscribe to your channel, bud. Okay? He's going to be taking part in the Kursk 75th anniversary group build along with myself. So that's good news. And my brother Neil is as well. So there you go. Right, where did we get to on this build? Right, the next thing I did with the tracks is basically put Woodland Scenics flex paste all around the tracks to give it that effect as though it's been trundling through the snow. And then on the bottom of it, I just used the mud effects with AK and MIG again, which came out really well, and obviously gave it the worn effect. I put battle damage on there, used the rust effects from AK on that. And again, with the exhaust shrouds, I used a mixture of pastels and obviously the splash mud, as though it'd been kicking up the mud, you know, and stuff. And also, again, on the back here where the track marks are, as soon as he comes round, I used a mixture of mixed pigments on that as well, so just to blend it in, as it were. And then on the end of the barrel again, I used just pastel, so it came up really well. And then again with the washes, I used Flores washes just to enhance the detail, make them pop up a bit more. But all told, again, this is another one of my favourite builds of the year. It sits pride of place on the side here, and I just can't stop looking at it, to be honest with you guys. I have to say, as in regards to my Tiger builds, this is my favourite. I've learned a lot from this, and well, with the help of you guys as well. That's Adam, as well as Evan and Mike Cohen. It's been a big help, so there you go. So in summary, that's my build of the year. I was going to give you the U96, but sadly I haven't been able to get that completed. I'll probably do a final reveal in the new year for that one. I've just got to the stage with that one where I've just masked off the deck and I'm going to paint that. I've got the base coats on, the actual hull done, and then I'll possibly, I might do an update on that, I don't know, but we'll see. All told though, I have to say that I've thoroughly enjoyed every single group build I've taken part in this year, and the process themselves. I hope you've enjoyed the builds that I've done this year for 2017. I know I have. And the community seems to grow from strength to strength, which is a good thing. And there's a lot of new young talent coming in as well, which I'm pleased to see. And Telford this year, I have to say, was amazing. I met a great few of my fellow modelers at the show, and it was great meeting you all. I'm very much looking forward to going to Telford next year and catch up with you guys again. And I have to say, the standard of all your builds out there was fantastic. It really was. And another highlight of my year of 2017 was Tiger Day. Seeing old Tiger 131, having a look at the Tiger 1 exhibition. Well, the Tiger exhibition itself was fantastic. If you get a chance to go to Bovington Tank Museum, I heartily recommend that you do. It's all run by volunteers, and it is a fantastic place to visit. It really is. I think my brother's been there about more than half a dozen times this year, as well as me being there twice. Once for Tiger Day, which was Tiger Day 7, because they had 2 this year. 8 I didn't get to go to because obviously with work commitments. Tank Fest itself was the first time I've been to Tank Fest. That was awesome, absolutely awesome. Meeting Jingles as well, the Mighty Jingles, that was brilliant. So it was good to meet you, Jingles, and hope to meet you there again next year. And who else did I say? David Bradley as well. It was a pleasure to meet you too. And the place is just amazing to visit. You never get tired of going to it. I know I don't. It's a real Tankie's dream, that place, I tell you. Anyway, as I say, I hope you enjoyed my builds of 2017. So carry on with the fantastic builds that you're doing out there, guys. I look forward to all your builds for next year, including some of the group builds I'm going to be participating in, and I hope it's going to be an even better year for the community. So until then, Happy New Year to you all. Have a safe and pleasant New Year's Eve, and I'll see you in 2018. So until then, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.